All right, guys, we're live.
All right, well, welcome to GRATI-CAST, a place where we want everybody to know that we're grateful for all you guys, and hopefully you have gratitude in your life. I'm here today with Michael and Vinny. Thanks for coming in today, guys.
We appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Back. All right, so today we're going to do the maintenance plan podcast where we can really hone in on some subjects there.
And just to jump in a little bit, the maintenance program, we hope everyone's watching, our housekeepers and our carpet cleaners alike. This was designed from, which Ken will explain, over 10,000 recordings that were done in the home. This specifically pertains to carpet cleaning jobs, but the psychology and the approach of it is universally applicable.
That's step 2.
Yeah, and I think really
Just to start off,
importantly
right.
that what we're seeing here though is we really can elaborate into everybody's life, what this is all about. Meaning people act and react a certain way.
Right. And
from just some simple psychology and the studies that are already pre-existing, all of this has taken place. We can figure it out real easily how people are going to act and react to things. So let's start off though, go back to the maintenance plan. Let's start off with the structure of this whole process a little bit. We'll touch on, like you said, about video recording 10,000 clients,
Right.
all of those things. But let's start with some important ingredients so that everybody knows. We'll start with that first part there, which is the difference between money in and money out. So we all know that we run promotions, which, as we move on, we're moving farther and farther away from those things, raising our prices. And basically the money in is what people call us up and they predictably have already seen one of our specials or a web price or something of that nature, and that's already a pre-sold amount.
Wait, I thought that was money out.
No, that's money in when it starts, okay? So
money out when it starts.
Money out.
Money out on the ticket.
Excuse me, yeah, Vinny wrote them backwards on my notes, so my mind was going with that. So yeah, you're right, money out, and money in's the money that comes in at the end. And listen, on the money out, it's a little bit more than they've just purchased over there, promotional or whatever they've seen on the web. What we do when they call the marketing department is we obviously want to add as much as we can to the ticket, and we do have a pretty strict regiment to the pricing of that, and we add as much as we possibly can right here in the marketing room.
So when you see the money in and money out on your paychecks, this is going to help you understand where those numbers are coming from.
Correct.
Right, and so we have 3 main sources for leads. Right, basically it's four really. We have Groupon, where someone goes on Groupon, buys a deal. It's 3 to 5 rooms, and it's just set in stone, whatever that price is. And then Amazon local services and Google local services. And then also if someone just drives by and sees our sign or visits our website or just finds us on Google and they just find our number somewhere, got referred to by a friend, they just randomly call us.
Organic.
Basically like a walk-in customer. Yeah, organic customer. Those are basically the 4 sources of customers that we receive. And when somebody purchases a deal or schedules an appointment, that very first amount that they decide to buy is the money out.
At the beginning, and that's prior to them calling us. Once they call us, we usually are capable of about 75% of those. We can add additional services to, and according to the customer selections, what they may want added.
Right.
They usually have that in their head before, and they're in a buying moment, so yeah, we want to add what we can on the ticket right then, because things change between the time we're booking it and we run it, and if the financial situation doesn't feel as good, it's not as easy to add it. So we try to add it in here, but sometimes when the crew gets there, the same thing. The financial situation may feel better or may feel worse. It's irrelevant. The point is, we're giving ourselves double the opportunities to add to these tickets.
Exactly. And so since that's just an organic customer and our marketing room goes ahead and tries to upsell them right away, add extra stairs or hallway or germicide or whatever it is, that's the percentage that the technicians get paid the least amount of percentage on, because they basically didn't have to do anything for that. Our guys that are in the room over there, they're the ones putting in the work, trying to get that money out number as high as possible, and that's before the job ever even gets to you as a technician.
Right,
Yeah.
and more than just the guys in the room, it's the entire effort of the company on marketing, outreach. Yeah,
and even better, we work really hard not to lower the price in there.
exactly.
That's the key is, we allow you technicians with all the liberty in the world to control the price. We do have obviously a minimum if you're using all the products and you're not, increasing the tickets. We know either you're stealing or wasting it. So we've got a problem either way. And the idea here, I want to go back for a second though to the Amazon and Google thing, because I want everyone to know that we are not looking at an unpredictable Amazon or Google relationship. We were approached by Amazon, and Amazon approached us to be able to be part of this new program that they've been rolling out for some time. In fact, increased their revenue considerably. Mm-hmm. And we're still in the learning stages a little bit, still adopting our process, but we want you to know that we're a representative in an ultimate fashion of Amazon. And every time we go to an Amazon job, our reputation is on the line. We got to perform 100%. And the same thing with Google. The new relationship we've got with Google, when we answer the lines in here, we let the customer know we're your Google provider. And we've made an arrangement with Google to have a special advertising spot that so far has proven to be substantial. And I obviously know that it's about the money you put into the market that we're going to get out of it. So right now we're putting money into that, and I want everybody to know that when you're talking to your customers, that's who we are.
Yeah, and that's a good point too, because those customers that we earned aren't, the nature of them is that they're not an organic customer. We are putting the money up front to get them in through those routes, through those methods. Like with Amazon, the company has to pay a percentage of what the job entails in order to get that lead. It's not like these are just free leads that are coming in. So when we are paying for that, especially, we definitely want to make sure that we're putting on our best face and giving them all the credit that we're paying for. Otherwise, we're just throwing that money away.
Well, like any job, I mean, we don't treat our customers hardly any different, because if you're a technician and you get into the home, it's all in your hands. You're in control of it. Whether they're a Groupon customer, if you're the right guy, you're going to win their loyalty, you're going to win their trust, and you're going to make something more out of that appointment.
Yeah, that brings us to money out, money in,
Mm-hmm.
and in order to get the maximum money in and be paid what we're worth, there's a lot more to it than just going out there and scrubbing carpets or furniture or stairs.
Oh yeah.
That's not what makes it happen.
So define money in for everybody real quick.
So money in is the end result. In other words, when we go and schedule this appointment in marketing, we add as much as we possibly can.
Which is money out.
Correct. And then each one of our providers shows up at the house with that predetermined amount, and their job is to go through a simple process with the customer that provides the customer with tons of benefits.
The maintenance plan.
After the maintenance plan, then they're going to give the customer the recommended process that should be done. And I use that word actually so hesitantly because recommendation is a really bad word if you're going to make this work.
Yeah.
There are a few words you can't say, or you know what I mean. It's kind of like George Carlin says about flying on an airplane. It says you'll be going to the terminal, or you know what I mean. There's a few things that just if you say the words,
I don't want to go
wait
there.
a minute. We'll be on the ground in about 5 minutes. Yeah. So the same thing. There's certain things we don't want to say in our customer's home, and recommendation is a really bad word. But what the technician does is writes a quote. And that quote to me is the same thing as a doctor writing you a prescription. That's all it is. You can choose to go to the pharmacy and get that prescription or not. And the same thing. But you're not going to tell the doctor, nah, I don't need that.
Right.
So it's pretty clear, money out. Anyone, carpet cleaners who's been here for any considerable amount of time completely understands, because this is how your pay scale works. The money in, or sorry, the money out is what we book here at the office, the combination of the promotional amount and as well any cash amount we put on that ticket. The money in is the grand total that we bring in on any job, which is that sum total amount. Correct. And then you're depending, of course, all of our employees have our pay structure 25% and then 50%.
So basically, money in increases. The idea is to increase your money in from money out. So once you're there in the house with a customer, the idea is you show them everything that it will take to get their house done right. And hopefully, if they really want to get their house everything done, they're going to purchase more services, whether it's extra rooms or extra stairs or germicide or deodorant. And the idea is when you show them the true benefit of everything that we truly have to offer, since we're already there, they might as well take advantage of it. Then your money in goes up. And that's why the technicians are paid on a higher pay scale on the money in, because basically the money in is what you're really working for. The money out is what the company has all worked for, and the money in is what you're there in the house working for.
Yeah, you've been given the money out, and then your money in is your total there. So that brings us to number...
Well, and real quick, too, and
sure.
a real easy way to remember it, money in the house, money out of the office. In the house, out of the office.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, whatever we send you out from the money outside, we've done everything we could, including now many times a customer may say how much are the stairs. We tell them $6 a piece. They tell us whatever they have. We give them $78 quote. They say, no, I'm going to skip those. Well, we're going to put it in the notes that we did quote them on that. And ultimately, when you're in the house, that's a bargaining mechanism for you. So it goes on from there. We try to be as clear as possible. We try to add as much as we can, and then we got one shot, and hopefully everything lines up that day. And another time when you show up at the customer's house, hopefully everything lines up that day.
Right.
And the bottom line is there's a whole process to getting it done and really providing the customer with a true great service. Instead of we're not going in there just to add extra services. That is not the goal.
Of course
if
not.
that's the goal, we're doing this wrong, because it's about providing a great experience.
Right.
And it's simple and logical to say if we cut this down to a numbers that are calculatable, I'm sure we'll have a future podcast on that for sure.
Set that phone?
Oh, you gotta be kidding.
I put it on airplane mode.
Might have been
It's
a
still
time.
ringing.
Yeah, it must have been the other one you put on, but the video just stopped, but I'll start it back up. All right, so anyway, I don't want to get too far off course. We'll have another session about that, but
Well, and that whole experience is the maintenance plan, and that's what we're going to go through with you guys today.
that's right.
Thank you, Vinny.
All right, so we're going to talk about Vinny's going to keep us in line here, because we'll drift off and be talking about Mars and what's his name, Elon Musk in a minute.
That'll be for another podcast.
Right. We'll have one for everything. Send your ideas in. We're open. We're working this podcast thing to death.
That's
All
right.
right. So let's talk about number 4, Michael. Some suggestions.
Well, we didn't go through too much of the psychology and previous history yet.
Yeah, if you want to back up there and do
Yeah.
that, we can do it real quick. I think most people already know that I was part of a huge franchise that was a nationwide company. And during that time, I had the privilege of working with some people that were able to record, live video record, as many as 10,000 jobs. And then that data was put into an environment where we could all just spread it out and figure out who's saying what when. And we learned quickly that there were patterns. And when you get to see that, you start to say, whoa, why does that pattern exist? Well, they're all pieces of our society. How we learn things is from experiences. And a lot of our clients have learned experiences that basically we captured, and then we said, oh, how do we make this come across the right way to give the customer benefit, which was the maintenance program, and really truly make them have the desire to have their whole house cleaned properly. Because we all know there's some facts that pre-exist, but things have been just distorted or bastardized or whatever, because nobody wants to just wash the crotch in their pants or just the armpits of their shirts. You want to wash the whole thing.
Right.
So there isn't a customer out there that doesn't want their whole house cleaned.
Right.
There isn't a customer out there who needs their whole house cleaned.
Say
It's
that?
not just that they want it, but they need this.
There isn't a customer out there that doesn't need it.
That doesn't need it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, that's why you threw me off. I was like, wait a minute, you just
What I meant is they don't just want it, but they need it.
So
Yeah.
let's talk about a couple of the examples, like specific examples, and I'm sure you can recall some off of your head. Like the something a technician would say, because we're on a subject of psychology and previous history.
Yeah,
of our
remembering back to some of the studies, I don't remember all the numbers clearly, but some stand out more than others. Like
so
the
let me
example,
finish my sentence.
Okay.
So something a technician would say, that's the wrong words, which might have been implied right there, but go ahead.
Yeah, the example that comes to mind, probably most relevant, was whenever a technician said, "Why didn't you have the stairs done?"
Mm-hmm.
83%, 85%, somewhere around there.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
They ended up never getting them.
Right.
Not even being able to negotiate the price and get them. So whenever that happened, really bad results. Other things,
Psychologically, it has effect on them, right?
Yeah, the customer thinks you're trying to push them into buying something, and no one wants to buy something that they don't want.
And everybody hates those pushy salespeople.
Yeah, and they already are thinking, because other service industries do it in other ways, and they're already got their defenses up, and because they're up, that's what you're up against.
Mm-hmm.
So we know certain things that are like, just as we talked, my recommended, when that word was used, sale went, the percentage just bombed.
It's a killer.
Right. It takes away from the customer's confidence in you as a technician, and what were your main objective. And when you go into that client's home is to earn their trust, get that level of defense down. And you can do that in multiple different ways. It ties into psychology, psychology, and you don't have to be a psychologist and have a crazy in-depth understanding. You have to understand a few key things of what you're saying, and it's pretty easy to make a mistake and not know you're ever making it. Which is why a lot of people can get stuck in that pattern. It's easy to kind of shoot from the hip, and you want to go that path of least resistance. I just did 2 interviews, guys I brought into Denver, the Denver office here today, and that's one of the big topics I covered is, what it takes for someone to succeed here is listening and being able to kind of lay your ego down a little bit, try something new. It's a challenge for anybody to be able to step outside of your comfort zone and approach something that doesn't totally feel natural to you at first, because we understand that it works, and we understand the psychology and the difference of what's happening in that customer's mind.
Well, and the videos really showed it, right? I mean, I remember you telling me a story back when I first started here about how when you guys went back and watched these thousands of videos, every time you saw I think it was when somebody took a step, when they said something that they liked, the customer kind of took a little step closer. Yep. And when they said something they didn't like, the customer every single time took a step away.
Lean in or lean out.
And so you can go back and watch the footage, and they've already done all this work. They've gone back and watched every single video and make notes and saw how the customers reacted to certain keywords and certain things like smiling and the way you approach them and the way you look and the way that your attitude, and it's all scientific. It's it generates a reaction.
They're pondering and processing their own opinion based upon their life's experiences. Mm-hmm. So you got to be right in the middle with all of that and be somewhat predictable that you're going to have a certain type of character that's uniform. Everybody's sheeple out there. Mm-hmm. And when you know just a little bit more than the average sheep, you can get a lot done. Mm-hmm. And so what we're trying to do here is we're trying to say we know how the customer reacts, when they react, certain things, and all the stuff we can keep feeding you on that then we'll figure it out. Other examples would be like we learned that quickly, if that customer said yes more than 10 times, the sales percentage went way up.
Which is the whole structure of the maintenance program, and if you
understand, it was a big part of it. That's where it came to be.
Getting a lot of it. You're educating them. They're agreeing with you. You're giving free information. It's easy for them to nod their head. It's totally defenseless approach.
And
you're getting on their level.
Flip side, to keep it balanced here, is when a technician used the word "I" more than 5 times, the sales went plummeting back down.
Interesting.
Why is that?
Because the customer's not interested in him and his. Do you understand?
Okay, yeah.
They like to be not yet.
Everybody's looking out for themselves, their own self-interest.
That's all they're thinking about is their own protecting, their own property. Everything is up at arms right now.
That makes sense.
And when a technician used the person's first name more than 5 times, went way back up.
Oh yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, you build that little bit of that rapport, you would call it, with the customer.
And for some reason, people's favorite word happens to be their name.
Their name. Oh yeah.
Interesting.
And there's a lot more to it than all of those things are a big part of what we're about to present to you today, this maintenance program.
And so, all of this maintenance program is designed with all the psychology and science built into it. All the hard work's already done. And that's basically the preface. That's where it all comes from.
Yep. And the closer you get to it being word for word and effective, exactly the same every single time, you'll do it better. And I think earlier we had a comment in here was, don't worry about some guy that knows 1,000 moves in karate or taekwondo.
Heard it many times.
Only worry about the guy that knows one move
really well.
He's practiced 1,000 times.
Yeah.
That's the thing here.
Right,
if you keep trying a different move every single time and have 1,000 different moves, you'll never make $2,000 a week at this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? You deserve that. Your customers that you're going in and cleaning their carpets, they make $2,000 a week. There's no reason why you shouldn't either.
Mm-hmm.
So the way to make this happen is to understand, practice the exact same thing over and over and over and over, and after probably 100 times, you'll never miss.
Yeah.
But don't change it every time or you'll never get it.
Okay, consistency. Yeah. So on to the next thing, Ken. We can cover a bit on this. So our suggestions of obviously having a clean vehicle, personal hygiene, and your equipment, that's your entire professional appearance.
And these are all things. These are all things that you can consider before you even knock on the door.
Well, obviously, yes. These are things that how you approach the customer and your appearance. So this is an extension of your professionalism. As any guy out there knows who takes this job seriously, this is who you are. This is how you show up to the door. Ken, do you want to add a little bit on clean vehicle, personal hygiene, and equipment?
Yeah, I think it's pretty simple. It's like, go to a restaurant.
Yep.
Where are you going? You going to a shithole? You going to a place that they don't clean the floors? You going to a place the silverware comes out dirty? Come on.
Well, yeah,
use your head.
Exactly. It's what kind of service you're getting, what kind of experience you're providing that for that customer.
Yeah.
And one of the things you always used to say, which resonated pretty heavily with me, was, if this guy doesn't even care to take care of his own shit, why the hell is he going to take care of mine very well?
Yeah, you pull up with ketchup on your shirt, you know what I mean, and your equipment's all trashed. You think the customer's saying, here's what they're saying. They're like, holy cow, this guy can't even keep his own shit clean. He's here to clean my shit? Wait a minute. There's something wrong here.
Yeah.
So let's use our head, guys. Yeah, vehicle spotless all the time. I mean, obviously, if it rains, the circumstances are fine. But
put real effort into having a great appearance to your customer. Care about it rather than just getting into that path of least resistance, letting it fall by the wayside, going through the motions, and not keeping your best foot forward.
You open the door and trash falls out. It's like, okay.
Kid, right?
But let me just tell you that there's a good possibility your client's gonna look in your car. There's a good possibility.
Right.
And I can tell you that's happened many times in my case. But I want to say, invest in yourself. Some of you guys drive really cool little Prius with, magnets on the doors, looking good. Some of you guys drive nice SUV or pickup truck, but pull up in a 1976 Cadillac and pop the trunk open with your stuff in it. You're starting off, with a handicap.
Yeah.
So use your head, guys. Invest in a $2,500 used Prius that you can work on and keep going and get great mileage and run these appointments as effectively as possible and make a couple $1,000s a week with what we got to tell you.
Mm-hmm. Keep your car washed, keep yourself washed, keep yourself in good shape. So next thing would be number 5, knock on the door, your attitude, you're excited, you're happy, enthusiastic. So this is the beginning of the experience. This is getting into the actual maintenance program itself, which will cover
At
through
the
some
very
details.
end. At the very end,
Right.
we'll do the maintenance program, but right now we'll kind of break things down as their importance.
Right.
If that works best.
Sure.
We'll do like one routine through it or whatever.
There you go.
So, but for now, let's talk about knocking on the door. Vinny and I had a conversation earlier about, well, when one of your friends comes over to your house, for example, you know, your house there where you guys are, Cody and you, when someone comes over, and they know you're their friend coming over to hang out, do they knock or do they ring the bell?
They knock.
If they're your friends, what is that knock like?
It's just a couple quick. It's real quick.
It's
Yeah.
it's you can tell by some persons have an identifier. They're like, it's me, bro.
Yeah.
You know, I
Right.
mean, their specific knock. But
We used to get mad at our friends if they just knock like that. You're like,
Yeah.
what was that, man? He freaked us all out. We thought it was the cops.
It was a popo.
Yeah.
That's because you were doing drugs, Vinny.
Yeah.
You got drugs on the table?
No, but
Or
usually
it's like that?
everybody knows the secret knock. Da, 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 da. That's always the knock.
That's what the
Right,
popo
right.
use now.
So yeah, having kind of a friendly knock.
Yeah, ringing the bell is a little impersonal.
Mm-hmm.
So let me tell you though, I gotta say I've knocked on probably 20,000 doors when I showed up to clean their rugs.
Yourself.
Yeah, and probably only 10,000 even heard the knock. Do you know what I mean? Because
Right.
it's unfamiliar, and you know what I mean, at the time of day, all those things. So, but yes, you're gonna ring the bell if you need to. It's not a problem, but it's not as personal.
Mm-hmm.
So knocking is a huge way to start.
Makes me think, you know, to all the jobs I've ran, I'd usually have a knock that was just
Yeah.
it was about like that. And I would try to make it to where they could hear it, and I would wait, and I would wait for a minute and wait, and then ring the doorbell if it didn't. It felt a little more personal. Something you taught me from day one,
Yeah.
and I would.
It's huge.
It's all about the first impression.
Yeah.
Yeah, you only gotta. The window is, I think, 3 seconds or something. You know, so that customer is, you know, their expectations are all over the place. Everyone's different. So if you can overcome a few things in the first 20 minutes of being in that house, and the wall gets down, it's over. It never misses. It never misses. The mind. It doesn't matter if you were selling solar roof systems, carpet cleaning, Girl Scout cookies. It doesn't matter.
Right.
The mind works a certain way, and if we work with how the mind works, it's amazing what will happen. Circumstances can prevent things, but they don't exist as often as, you know, people want you to think they do. It's we've been built into these protective things where it's like, our comments, I'm just looking, or, you know, these are protective measures, or, you know, we don't say to somebody, no, I'm broke. You know, I mean, that's not usually what we say.
Yeah.
We're probably pretty much going to say something to keep mud off our face, whatever it is, or whatever. So
Any time that wall can go up, and every time the customer throws up that wall, it at that point the entire thing has changed, right?
Yeah.
And at all costs, you want to keep them with that wall down.
Moving
You show
down,
up and
moving
trash
down.
falls out of your car, boom, that wall just went up.
Exactly.
You show up, you ring the doorbell, or you knocked really aggressively, or knock something over on their front
Yeah.
porch, boom, that wall's up.
Yeah.
It is so much more difficult to get them to change their impression
Yeah.
of you around than it is to just start off on the right foot
Yeah.
in the first place.
you smell like BO, you got bad breath, you're just looking trashy. Any of those things, you're done.
Yeah.
Your odds are to the lowest point they can go, and it's okay. Yes, sometimes you're going to get some extras because the customer's like already made their mind up before you got there, whatever the case might be,
Right.
or you might have touched them a little bit on a particular item. Other than that, your nickel and diamond is what we call it, and that it doesn't make you any money. You won't make $2,000 a week.
And
here.
they're probably not coming back next year.
No,
Yeah.
the customer won't, because, you know, we already know those return rates. We calculate them. We know the customer that pays under $200, the return rate is really low. And part of it is because the technician doesn't work as hard. We know the jobs that pay from $200 to $400 are the highest return. And the reason they're the highest return is because the cleaner's freaking happy. Because he knows he just put how much ever in his, on worst case scenario, $100 in his pocket, and possibly as much as $200 in his pocket for 2.5 hours worth of work.
Yeah.
He knows that, so he's happy. He knows I'm making $50 an hour or $100 an hour right now.
Yeah.
I'm happy, and he's whistling and doing just beautiful, amazing work because of that. And the lower the value of the job gets, the less the return rate. And that's because he hurries, he's quick, he just wants to make his $25 and get out of there in a half hour.
Yeah.
And it does nobody any favors.
No.
Yeah.
So the idea here is you got a few seconds when you show up at the door. You got to be super excited. You got to be happy, enthusiastic, look good, play the part.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't mean I'm like far from the good looking guy, but I look good when I show up to clean.
Presentable.
At someone's
professional.
house. Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't have to be GQ. You don't have to be any of that stuff. You just got to be a professional. And the more professional you are, I mean, it's a difference in going and seeing a Mercedes technician versus, going in and seeing Joe's garage technician.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to see the Mercedes guy's probably wearing a lab coat and one lens on one eye or something, you know
Right.
what I mean?
Looking cool. Right. Look
So-
good.
And a knock is better than a ring if you can do it.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So, I think from that point, you can really establish control. When you're doing everything right, when the customer starts respecting you from the moment you pulled up, from the moment you greeted them enthusiastically with their name, and again, don't butcher names. Be very careful of that. Out of respect, ask them. Point at it is all you got to do. They'll say, "Oh, it's whatever."
Right.
All right. Instead of calling it wrong because that's a little bit on the bad side.
Cilicia.
Yeah, whatever it is. So, okay, let's go from there to the next part, which is the walkthrough. The walkthrough is probably one of the most important parts to this process. The whole process from where we're talking about here until we get to the end is a time span of maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes max, okay?
Yeah.
So all this is going to take place in a short period of time, but we're going to give you the guideline, and right now we're at the walkthrough. The walkthrough is basically really an important part because at that point you need to be quiet because now the customer is going to give you all of their thoughts and all of the little information they can think about on those areas. They're going to walk you through, hey, here it is, this room, don't worry about that, don't worry about that. So, and they may say things to you like, don't worry about moving the sofa.
It's so important to them too because I know when I'm a customer, like this phase, whenever I'm getting ready to express what exactly I want from my service provider, I've thought about this for the last hour, for the last week before they even got there. Oh, should I tell them about this? Oh, should I have them do that room? No, I'll have them do that room instead.
Exactly.
So they've put a lot of thought, time, and energy into preparing what they're going to present to you as well. So it's important that you're really paying attention and listening and not really interjecting too much.
So then if you have a technician who really understands to go with the flow and not cause any sort of friction right here, you're going to keep yourself in a lot better spot with the customer. Let them get that all out. Don't they show you something that's not on there. Oh, this isn't on the ticket. You didn't add that. Oh, that room looks too big.
Well, and I think the flip of that, I saw an opening.
Go ahead.
And the opening there is, the customer may say to you, don't worry about moving that sofa. Then
That's
you
different.
can stop and say, wait a minute. I got to sleep at night. And the lady's like, what? You're like, I got to do a thorough job, and if I don't do a thorough job, I ain't sleeping at night. So I'll be moving the sofa today. So, and that's an opportunity because the customer's not expecting it.
For you to over-provide.
That's right. So that's over-providing. It's going the extra mile. The customer's like, fine.
So that's a really good way to intervene and earn their trust.
Otherwise, don't say much.
Yeah.
We'll do the walkthrough, have them show you the areas. After you've gotten through, there's your stopping point. Now you're going to go ahead and say, okay, Mrs. Jones, what I'm going to do is get my stuff in, get all set up. Once I'm all set up to go and have kind of prepared everything for the cleaning, I'll need 5 minutes of your time. I've never, ever had a customer tell me no. Never. I have had a customer say, well, I've got to get back to work. And I say, well, let's rush things a little bit real quick here. It's not my normal practice, but we'll rush through this real quick so you can get out of here and do your thing.
It's okay. We'll take you right through it, and we'll make sure you.
But I still didn't let them get out of it.
Exactly. Yeah, and you're the shepherd here,
Yeah,
and they
right.
know that from your sense of confidence. From you come in, you got a big smile. They're okay with you leading them around the house because they feel you have good intention and you know what you're doing.
Yep. Especially now that I've got everything set up, but the setup is huge, guys. It's huge. It not only involves your equipment looking good and placed carefully, never on wood, always very carefully, never, on a wood floor or any furniture, wood, anything like that, always on tile or concrete outside the door, or very safe places to be placing any kind of liquids.
And the setup too, you actually, during the walkthrough, the technician hasn't actually unloaded all their equipment out of the car and everything yet.
Well,
right?
as you bring that up, we prefer he has.
Yep.
Those of us that know the experience of this game is if your equipment is sitting on the porch when you ring that doorbell or knock on the door,
It's a lot harder.
The customer rarely cancels because you're right there. The odds go up a little bit if you don't.
Oh, so even before the walkthrough, you unload everything and bring it to the front door.
Yep, right before you even knock on the door.
Yep.
And then the setup, you're actually moving it from the front door into the house.
And we're setting up the rooms is what we're referring to when we say setup.
Right.
So we're setting up the job for cleaning. So at this point, what I'm going to do is now that the customer's gone off and doing whatever they're doing, I'm going to start prepping. And when I prep, I literally set myself up to be able to go fast, do it well, thorough, and efficient. And what I want to do is, first of all, I obviously want to vacuum my open areas. I can go ahead and pre-treat that area a little bit. It's not as effective if it sits for 30 minutes, but sometimes, depending on how dirty it is, I probably will, if it was pretty dirty, pre-treat it a little bit. Let it sit for a few minutes, and then start moving everything. I want to move everything in that room away from the wall.
Move everything.
I move everything. I mean, obviously, I don't move things that are unsafe to move. A big bookshelf, a fish tank, a china cabinet.
But everything you can.
Everything I can physically move, I'm going to move it. And then I've got my corner bucket with me with my long handle brush so that I can whip foam up because I want to go around the outside edge completely and thoroughly. Not only do I vacuum thoroughly behind and under everything and along all the edges, then I want to take my hand brush and clean all the baseboards along, not the actual baseboard, but sometimes I got to tell you I will do that as well.
Over-provide.
I'm over-provider. That's what I am. And so I go around all those edges completely after I've prepped that room down and moved everything to a small center. Because one of my goals is when I prep a room, I want to be able to get my machine all the way around. So I don't have to stop, turn around, go back, go the other direction. It just saves me time. So there's a little strategy involved when you're setting the room up. So now I may not have time, but depending on the circumstances, if I got 3 or 4 rooms, I may only set up 1 or 2, the dirtiest, most used, and I'm also, while I'm prepping, I'm looking for a dirty, soiled spot.
Find the room. Yeah.
So I want to find the worst spot in their house. And then what I want to do is I want to clean, say it's a 4-foot square that's the dirtiest spot in their house. I want to clean about 2 square feet of that halfway down the middle. And I can do it by hand or with my machine, it doesn't matter, but at this point I rarely have my machine out and all set up, so I'm probably always going to do that by hand. So by hand with my sponge, I'm going to dip it in my solution nice and strong. I'm going to scrub that spot out, take a look. I might towel it out a little bit just to kind of see how it's going to turn out. And at that point I can see a comparison of what the end result is going to be.
Like a live before and after.
Exactly, an instant before and after. And talk about a confidence builder. That's one of those things when a customer sees that and it's night and day, right then they can succumb to you. You can see it. You can see it. When they succumb to you and they're like, whoa, I didn't think that was going to come out that good.
The body language changes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's where they're stepping into you instead of away from you.
Right.
So, and if you still, remember, you don't want to sell. When you show them that spot, if you try to sell them, boom, it'll go, that wall of defense will go right back up.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So you remember, we're a few minutes into this, prepping and the whole process, but you got to understand from today's talk that still, at this point, you better not have said one word about adding anything.
Or prices.
No prices, no money.
No prices, no money, no extra services. Only thing that's going to happen is sometimes a customer might ask you about extra services and say, well, while you're here today, can you do the sofa? If they do, just say, no problem, I'll go ahead and get you a price list and we can talk about that. Let me finish getting all set up and everything ready.
Yeah.
Okay? And that'll save you from running into an obstacle that we see and have seen that it will knock your percentage down.
Yep.
So,
And we skipped over one thing just a little bit too. When we were saying that you move everything, that's another perfect opportunity where you can over provide.
Right.
There's like a big shelf or something that you can. I mean, obviously you don't want to hurt yourself or move anything that's unsafe, but the psychological aspect of moving something where the customer is like, they just did not expect you to move that.
No.
And they walk back in that room and just see that everything is moved and out of the way so you can get every spot of that carpet. It's just another way to keep those walls down and impress them and just be that guy that they building their confidence in you.
I'm a little guy and I don't use sliders, but any of you guys that are worried about it, get some sliders. I mean, you can move anything.
Oh yeah.
There's no problem. But be careful.
The whole setup. This is where what we like to call the dog and pony show starts, and it's going above and beyond. And you want your customer to see you. You want them to see you sweating while you're raking the carpet. You want to see them to see you being detailed and scrubbing a corner of the room with the hand tool. That does something to their mind.
Yeah,
that does something to their mind, and it's all simple. A lot of this might sound. We're breaking it down really detailed, and it might be a little bit of intimidating to you, but use it. Understanding every bit of this aspect is a tool for you, and that's the best way to look at it. Doing a dog and pony show, earning their trust, going above and beyond is getting them to put that wall of defense down so you can give them a great experience.
Yeah, they're going to see that and be like, oh, dang, look at this guy. I got one of the good ones.
Right,
Exactly.
right. That's
Exactly.
what they say.
That's what you want them to think.
But bigger than that, and more importantly, is it's an opportunity somewhere soon here, it'll come up, where you can say to the customer, because when we bring them in a second to show them the preparation process, that customer will say, wow, I didn't expect this. That's the opportunity, and it doesn't necessarily have to come out of their mouth. You still will have this opportunity in every job to be able to look the customer in the eye and say, today I have one opportunity to earn your business as a loyal customer, and that's what we do. We want to give you a service that is worth way more than you're paying for it, because we know you'll always call us back.
Yep.
No matter what our price is, you always know if we give you what you're paying for, they'll call us back.
And if you've never said that to your customer while you're in the home, it might feel a little weird, but try it. I mean, I would say it to every customer. I'm here to earn your business back. That's my intention.
I say I got one chance to earn your business. It's today.
Yep.
And if I do it right, not only will you call me back every year, but you'll be a cheerleader for me and you'll tell your friends about me.
Yeah.
That's huge. So anyway, we got the preparation done. We cleaned half the square. We've already asked the customer for 5 minutes of her time. Now we're going to go find her. All right. So once we find the customer, he or she, bring them back in there to the room that we just talked about, where you've done around the edges completely. Everything's moved in nicely. It's all organized and neat, not stacked a mile high on their bed, but carefully and strategically create a spot that you can go around that room or half of the room or whatever you have to do. Right. But the idea is make it clear and visible that you've gone the extra mile to prepare that room beyond what their expectations were. And then find that customer, take them. You're going to be coming to the spot probably first, the spot that's half cleaned. When you come to that spot, point down, let your customer know, looks like we're not going to have any problems getting the carpet cleaned today. Came out fine. They're going to be like, wow, I can see the difference so much. Okay, so now come on in here. Let me show you what I do. This room's been prepared. You may not have prepared them all, and it's okay. But if you're fast, they might all be prepared. So you want to explain to your customer, now I go ahead and I clean the carpet around the edges. That's all been done by hand, so I'm not going to bring my equipment close to your walls today. And I'll be very careful and get this all done. Get all the furniture placed back where it goes before I leave today. And anything that needs protective chips under it, I'm going to place them under the legs if there's any excess moisture.
Keeping them from having to worry. Yeah, exactly.
I'm really settling them to let them in on, what kind of treatment I'm giving them, just like a doctor would.
Yeah.
And he's clear, and he's going to explain it properly. So then I'm going to take them back out, and then I'm going to say, okay, I got my rake usually leaning right there by that spot where I've done the example, because their mind's going to keep going, wow, that looks so much better. And I want all of those things put to help me get myself in a certain position with the customer where they trust me as a doctor. They trust my opinion to say, oh, this guy is a doctor of carpet. He knows what he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So now I walk back out there with the customer after showing them that room, go to where my rake is set up. I want to put my rake in there, and this is where it all starts. This is the maintenance program, and I don't know if we want to totally just run through the bits and pieces of it first, but let's start off. Maybe we can just do it live, but let's start off by saying one of the things you got to understand that's going to happen during this next 5 minutes is we're going to get the customer to say yes anywhere from 15 to maybe 20 plus times.
Yeah.
And we're going to be very careful not to get them to say no.
Avoid no at all costs.
Yeah, well, it can come up, it can happen, and it's okay if it's prefaced right, but watch it. If you don't have to do a question that's possibly going to get a no, don't. But when you're leading and you're totally in control, they're going to answer with exactly the way you frame the question. So the framing is huge here. And how you say these things is huge. It's a lot more than just some specific words. It's how you're delivering the message.
Yeah.
So understand the maintenance program has huge benefit to the customer, and the reason you're showing it to them is so their carpet will
look better and last longer.
Bam! And that's it. That's why you're showing them.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can show them ways to make their carpet and furniture look better and last longer, you've done them a great service.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important, because think about it, $10,000 the average house's carpet and furniture, you save them 3 or 4 years life on that from showing them how to maintain it. Invest $10,000 for 3 or 4 years, your carpet cleaning's free.
Yeah.
They're protecting their investment, and it's hard not to use those things as tools in your conversation, but this is a much better approach to do this.
Oh, yeah. And our old ways will drag us to doing things that we learned from time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really screwed up process we have out there, and we'll get into more of that as we get better at this podcasting stuff, talking about the mind and how it makes decisions and all of those kind of things. But for today, we wanted to really get up in your shorts a little bit and get this maintenance program on a clear path, because we think if all of you were using it properly, you'd all have the results of an example we just had here over the last month. We've had a few people coming in and learning from us, and let me just tell you, when we get a guy that goes from under $1,000 a week, we bring him here and give him just a few days of training, and now all of a sudden he's a $2,000 a week candidate.
Boom.
What's the problem?
Yeah.
He told us clearly. He was like, I was just too proud to listen. I just thought I knew. And it's like, you know what you probably know. And that's okay. You learned that from society. But we watch this carefully, and we want you to do it the best it can possibly be.
And that's the challenge to overcome, is all of our preconditioning and that what we kind of instinctively want to do. And that's what this helps you with. It gives you something to stick to. I tell every single guy, it might feel a little bit robotic at first, but good, because you know you can rely on it. You know you're going to be giving that customer consistency, and they feel it.
And it's going to work. It works so much. It's not even funny. I think
it's proven.
Eric. I think he's maybe missed one big sale since we trained him, and that was 4 weeks ago when we started. And the guy's just like gangbusters. He'll never make less than $100,000 a year. He's shout out Eric. Going to Seattle for us, going to be our lead guy up there, and really put some training into some of the guys up there that need it, and he's gangbusters. So,
Yeah, we're not just blowing smoke either. You don't believe us? Get on Workplace.
Yeah.
Hit up Eric. Ask him.
Yeah.
Ask him, because it's like night and day. He
Oh,
came out
yeah.
here for a week and boom.
He's all quiet and shy, and now he's part of the family. He's part of the team.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, he would jump on any one of you guys. All right, so let's get to it right now. The maintenance program. We're gonna start with it, and Michael and Vinny can be the customer or whatever, but we'll just roll through it and
Sure.
see kind of what happens here. So I'm gonna grab my rake. I'm going to walk to a matted area of carpet, dragging the customer in tow with me. As I get to that matted area of carpet, I'm going to put my rake down, and I'm going to rake vigorously there. And then I'm going to ask my customer, you see how I've raked that carpet?
Yes.
Where's some sound effects? No. All right, so do you see how I've raked that carpet? What are we getting?
Yes. A nod.
You hear
An
the frame
agreement.
of the question? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now, do you see how now that the carpet is standing up, when I vacuum, I'll be able to get much more trapped and dust and dirt out?
Okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, you know when the carpet was new, it had a protective finish on it.
Good
And
call.
just
Oh,
did
yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Now that you've worn or cleaned that off, it's not as easy to maintain.
Another nod.
Another yes. All right.
Mhm.
And then I can put the rake up and say, raking helps. So what I just did was it diverted their mind from thinking I was even going anywhere near that protective coating. I was teaching them about the rake and how important it was to brush your carpet a little bit before you vacuum, so that when you vacuum, more dust and dirt comes out.
There's a little build up. They kind of feel like, okay, where's this going? And like,
Yeah.
this guy just laid
Boom.
some
He
cool
just
knowledge.
told me about this rake.
It's great.
It works awesome. All right. You like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come here, let me show you this. And now I
Okay.
start walking towards the piece of furniture I've already picked. I already know it's in the best light. It's probable. It's full of dust, just like everyone else's.
Yep.
And so I'm walking towards that piece of furniture, and just as innocent and nonchalantly as I can make it, because all I'm going to do is ask a question I want some factual nods to. So I'm going to say, Mrs. Vinny, everybody has germs and bacteria, right?
Yeah.
And Mr. Michael, what do we do with germs and bacteria when we have them? We kill them, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Get
Yeah,
rid of
yeah.
them.
All
Yeah,
right.
kill him.
All right.
What do you think,
All right.
Vinny?
Yeah.
Yeah, kill him.
All right. So now that I've done that, because they're only answering me because it was so off the wall, the question, it's out of place a little bit.
Right.
It's like now they're only answering me with a little mystery of like, why did he just ask that? Why did he just say that? But it's okay, because it doesn't matter. They answered. They responded.
Right.
Because they knew the normal response and answer. And that's all you were looking for. You're not trying to sell disinfectant. You're none of that.
Do we want to tell them what we did just do?
Yeah.
We planted a seed.
Yeah.
We
that's it.
planted a seed for them. Yeah.
That's all we did. All we did was their subconscious now knows what they said and what they agreed to. All right? So leave it alone. That's all you need to say about it. Don't say any more. Okay? Now, we can talk about in another podcast where we're specifically dealing with urine and stuff, but it's not part of the maintenance plan. It would come in a little bit afterwards, before your quote sheet, during a walkthrough, right before you present the quote sheet. But for the most part, we're ignoring that for the minute. And I disinfect every house. I just basically say, we all have germs and bacteria, you need it, period.
Done. Yeah.
That's all I do. I never ask. I don't care if they have a dog or anything. It's like, wear your socks for 365 days. Stuff them with some stuffing and use them for your pillow. See how that works out.
Yeah.
That's what your carpet's like.
Yeah.
Where do you think all the germs and bacteria are going?
Yeah, or lay a sheet down on your floor and let your dog come in every time after he goes out to the bathroom and sit on that sheet. What do you think it's going to look like after 365 days?
Oh, yeah.
That's what your carpet looks like. You just can't see it.
And some of these customers, more than 365 too. I mean, it's probably, for some of them, been years before they've had their carpets cleaned.
Who knows exactly?
Jeez.
And dogs cats don't have the convenience of toilet paper, so they just come in and plop, and then some
The
of them
butt
do
scoot.
a little scoot.
The butt scoot.
So
I think we got a good one here, honey. It sounds good.
yeah. So
Sounds good to me.
all right. So ultimately, ultimately, now at this point, we walk towards the furniture. We did that simple, and remember, not too many words. We're going to do this one final run through at the end where there's no commentation.
Okay.
All right, but ultimately we've only done two small parts: the raking part, the walking to the furniture when we used the comment of everybody has germs and bacteria, right?
Right.
And when we have germs and bacteria, we kill them, right?
Yeah, kill him.
Okay, exactly. All right. So now we're at the furniture. We can pull our peanut brush out, and I always had a habit of hitting it on my shoes so the customer didn't think I'd like dumped a bunch of baby powder in it or something like that. You know, just make sure they know the dust is not coming from my brush.
It's not a cheap trick.
No, exactly. It's not a magic show here.
Yeah.
So I tapped it on my shoe a couple of times so they their mind processed what I just did from training. Everybody knows that was to get something out of something.
Yeah.
And that's already conditioned in their mind. So a little tap on the shoe, bam, bam, their mind clears the brush right then. Okay? Yeah. So now I put it on the back of that fabric piece of furniture, brush that dust towards the lamp that's closest lit up or daylight coming in from a window. And that dust usually flies up in the air. 95% of the time
makes a cloud.
Big cloud.
Yeah.
And the customer then, and remember, you can't ever get your peanut brush wet or you're done. It's not going to happen. And the whole maintenance plan and the whole selling process is broken right there if you ever get that brush wet or you don't have one. All right? So now we brush that dust up into the air. And remember, all those things that have taken place before, now we're at that spot where we say, okay, you see that dust?
Yeah.
Do you see, got a yes. Do you see how that dust could be like sandpaper?
Another yes.
You don't want sandpaper on your couch, right?
No. The only no. And no, I don't want it on
Well,
my couch.
you said right. That's why I use the word right.
Right.
So I said, you don't want sandpaper on your couch, right?
Right.
And I forced them into that right.
Okay.
So instead of you don't want sandpaper on your couch and stop, then you're going to get a no. That's where we talked about that no. That's the one.
It almost doesn't even need to be a question either. You could just say, you don't want sandpaper on your couch.
Yeah, but it's
just
still
a statement
their subconscious could still say no.
It's that final right, and then you get their head nod, and you get that sense of agreement.
Gotcha.
Right?
Gotcha.
The nod is another yes.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So you say, you don't want sandpaper on your furniture, right? And they're like, right.
Right.
Okay. You got that background again.
It's my mic.
Yeah, that's all right.
No worries.
So now at this point, you don't want that sandpaper on. No one wants sandpaper on their furniture. Well, now you guys messed me up. So you don't want sandpaper on your furniture, right?
Right.
Okay. Look, Mrs. Vinny Michael, you've got some other things that need attention. I'm going to get my price list out. I'll write down what it'll take to do your whole place right. You do whatever you want. That happens every single time. When I say you do whatever you want. Okay?
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
Okay? I could get 3 of them from you right there. Do you understand?
Yeah.
All right. So now I got the customer going with me. They're feeling like, that was cool. This guy showed me some cool stuff. And he, explained it to me and everything, along the way.
I have never, swear, not once, ever had a customer say no.
Yeah, me neither.
No, never. Not once. I would tell you if I
say
did.
No
I
to
haven't
what?
even once to
the
quote
quote
sheet.
To the quote sheet.
I've never had one.
And I would use it. Ken taught me from the beginning. I had the privilege of him showing me how to do it. I had an open mind. I went towards it. And I would say, Mrs. Jones, there's a few extra things here that need attention and need service. I'm going to get out a sheet of paper, our price list. I'm going to write down what it'll take for you to get your home taken care of properly today, and you do what you want with it.
Yep. I always use the word right because
you do what you want.
Remember, instead of Michael just said properly.
Right. You get your home
If I
done
was
right.
training you, I'd probably tell you not to say that because what is the opposite of right?
I'm a little out of practice.
Wrong.
Right.
And so there's some positive push through this whole maintenance program that kind of herds them a certain way. Yeah. Don't break it. Don't break it. It's pretty simple, and that's why it's short and simple. And we'll run through it for the finish here.
To get your home done right, and you do what you want.
Yep. And remember that last part, you do what you want.
Super important.
It's probably like frosting. that cake is well. There's a couple cakes that are good frosting.
The cherry on top.
But
Not much.
yeah, frosting. It's
You
the
gotta
cherry
have it.
on top. Without that, it's broken.
Mm-hmm.
You do what you want. What is that telling them?
They're making the decision.
their hands.
You're in control.
Yeah.
And everything we've just done to lead up to this spot, what were their decisions? What kind of decisions have they made for the last decisions?
Yes.
And it was all in agreement to what?
To you.
To you. So it's simple if you frame this right. If it goes in at the right spot and you say it exactly right, you'll get better and better with time. And every single time your customer will react this way because people are sheeple. They're sheeple. We already know how the brain works. We're just taking old school psychology, bringing it to you so that you guys can understand. We already know what you're thinking.
Well, yeah, everybody wants their whole house done. Everybody does.
Like I said,
There's not one person
armpits
out
and
there.
crotch. Is that what you wash in
No.
yours? No, you wash the whole shirt, right?
Exactly.
Yep.
All right. Same with every customer. I mean, and we got some lazy guys, maybe I'd say, that don't quote furniture because they maybe think it takes too long. It's like, well, we'll pay for the tattoo that guy needs that says idiot for his forehead. All right? We'll pay for that, right, Michael?
Sure.
We'll pay for that tattoo, idiot, because ultimately, I can tell you right now, all the guys that make $2,000, they don't limit it to something they preference because it takes longer or shorter.
That's the totally wrong frame of mind.
Yeah.
You're thinking down the wrong road.
They quote because the customer's stuff needs it.
Yeah.
If it doesn't need it, don't put it on your sheet. It's pretty simple. If you don't have enough integrity to do it honestly and do it right, don't do this.
Don't do it at all.
It's about, you got one opportunity to earn their business and loyalty. And just like when you're thinking about a friend across the country and he calls you and you haven't heard from him in 2 years, there's an electromagnetic connection between you and that customer, and they know when you're fucking lying or you bullshit.
Yeah.
They know it. They got gut feeling.
See right through
and
it.
only some people react to their gut feeling, so sure, maybe you'll get a sale here or there. But that's not the deal.
Yeah.
The deal is if you're for real and it's real shit, then your customers buy from you.
Yeah.
They can tell this guy, he could have put that sofa on there, but he said to me, I'm going to just brush it and vacuum it for you. No charge. It's a little dusty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those are like extra mile open doors to getting what you want. And getting what you want is that customer to experience the process of how quick it can be done, how efficient it can be done, clean their entire house top to bottom in anywhere between 2 and 4 hours. I mean, 4 hours for me is a big house, and I'm doing everything. I'm doing all the furniture and all the rooms.
Yeah.
And I can knock it out any day of the week. Once in a great while, I'll run into a job that's $1,500 or something like that where, I might have had to roll the rugs up and bring them in, or in the case that I couldn't do that, I was out of state or something like that, I might have had to stay 5 or 6 hours even. But that's okay. I got $1,500 out of that ticket because I added 3 or 4 big Persians to the rest of the cleaning, whatever it is.
Yeah, the office will happily coordinate the schedule to make that work.
Exactly. Office will never be mad at you when you call them up and say you just got $1,000 or $1,500. Is there anything you can do about the next appointment? And we're going to be honest with the next appointment and let the customer know. Unfortunately, the customer before you wanted a bunch of work done, and our technician is just stuck there right now.
Yeah.
If you want to wait, great. Otherwise, we can put you on the schedule somewhere else and call you a priority.
Or of course have another technician who can head out there, do a little rearranging.
Yeah, and if we had a really true good team, that would probably happen every time, where we could call the other technician and say, "Hey, cover this one for us," and he's like, "Wait, let me throw on my cape."
Yeah.
And that's what we're working to build. In some cities we've got that. In a few of our cities we've got guys who are fantastic. We can all rely on each other. Guys understand if you cover a job for him, that's going to come back to you, and you're going to get that same reciprocation.
For sure. So let's wrap it up with the maintenance plan and the quote sheet, and we'll let these guys go. How long have we ran?
We're a little over an hour.
Are we?
Yeah. 104.
Cheese and rice. Okay, yeah, we'll wrap it up with the maintenance plan.
The last thing too about on the quote, when you quote everything, right?
Yeah.
And then you can use like stairs, gonna throw it in for free, right?
Yeah, we'll do that at the end.
Okay.
I'll do that as I go through the maintenance plan, or when I get to the end.
So the quick run through.
Yeah, and I mean, basically, I could do all the bells and whistles with you. I think we'll do breakdowns that'll give us good podcasts in the future that aren't so long, where we actually talked about, like, now I'm going to say, okay, I'm ready to show you all the information I wrote down.
Right.
So I don't say price or quote or anything like that. I'm ready to show you the information I wrote down. They gave me permission to write that down.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So that's all I hang it on is I'm going to go ahead and show you everything I wrote down.
Yeah.
That's it. All right? But sometimes I might say, come here, I'm going to show you everything and watch this. And I got my black light in hand now. And I'm going to walk around and I'm going to show them wherever there's any spots or problems. And I'm going to say, this is an accident.
And so this is after the maintenance program, before you approach them with the final quote sheet.
Right.
You've got it ready. You've got it in your hand. But
Yeah.
in the case of pet accidents, contamination in the carpet, this is your...
Only time I'm going to ever show them that with my black light is just a few seconds before I'm about to show them my quote sheet. Because there's certain emotions carried with it. So now I'm going to show them those spots, and it's really important. You should know I say the same thing to every customer when I show them spots. I say this is an accident, and I want you to know I'm sorry this happened to your carpet. I'm not sure if it's your pet, a previous pet, or it doesn't matter. If you'd like, I can help you fix it in the future. Which is a simple solution. It doesn't matter. In most cases, I know exactly how to fix it, so it doesn't happen. Even if it's an older dog, we can fix it. And I'm sorry it happened, but we can get it fixed today. Okay.
Yeah.
So then I take them to the quote sheet. All right. So now, when we're in that quote sheet, what I want to do is I want to go through it step by step and kind of follow the format I did showing them stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I always put my soil retardant first, then I put my disinfectant, germicide, and deodorant next. And all you should know, those are all three the same thing. They're just different quantities. When it's full force maximum you can use, you're going to disinfect everything in their house. When it's, just surface treatment, it can get the germs out of the surface and the top of the backing of the carpet. And when it's only deodorizing, it's just a mastic to cover it up and make it smell pretty in the house until the dog smell goes away. Or the wet dog smell, not urine. All right?
Yeah.
So ultimately, at this point, I'm going through that quote sheet in a pretty similar format. All right, so we're gonna do that at the very end or whatever the case, but we'll get into more podcasts about that kind of stuff. But for now, let's just do the maintenance program and wrap this up.
Let's do it.
All right.
Hello,
Mr. Michael. This is Ken. I'm with Hello, Mr. Michael. I'm Ken. I'm with B Green Services. I'm here to clean your carpet today.
Yes, sir.
All right, fantastic. It looks like you got the 3-room and a hall special.
That's right.
Awesome. Why don't you show me those areas? Let's take a look.
Come on in. Okay, so right to the kitchen here. This is our stairs.
Okay.
We have some of those. I guess we didn't add those onto the ticket. My wife
No worries. We can talk about that.
booked the appointment. Thank you. And then up the stairs, you've got all three of our bedrooms in the hallway.
Okay.
Up there, and we've got our living room on the main level here.
Okay.
Yep.
So you got the 3-room special, and you got the 3 rooms upstairs in the hallway. That we're going to use that for the special. And then what I'll do is I'll talk to you about the living room and the stairs and all that. We'll make sure you pick the price that's comfortable for you. I'll get the price list out and show you all that information. But before we go there, let me go ahead and get my stuff, get all set up, get ready to go, so I stay on time today. And then I'm going to need 5 minutes of your time so I can show you a few things that'll help you make the carpet look better and last longer, okay?
That sounds good.
Awesome. So now I'm going to go out and get set up, bring it in. Then I'm going to set my room up just like we talked about in the details. Mm-hmm. Now I'm going to go find my customer. Hello, Mr. Michael. I'm ready. If you want to come on in here with me, let's kind of take a look. As you can see here, I cleaned half this little spot. Carpet's going to come out fantastic.
Oh, wow.
Looks great.
Wow.
Big difference. We can get a lot of dirt out today. So let's go to that next room there. Take a look in there. as you can see in this room, I've prepared everything. I do around the edges by hand to make sure I get everywhere and my equipment doesn't get close to the wall for
That's
you.
great.
So everything should be fine. Anything I couldn't quite move out of the way, I will do under it by hand if possible. Okay? So everything looks good here. Last few things are some maintenance things that will really help you in the future. If you want to step out here, let me show you. Now I usually go back to that matted area of carpet, put my rake down, brushing the carpet. I look at the customer and say, now, do you see how I've brushed that carpet?
Yeah.
You see how now that I've loosened that carpet up, when I vacuum, much more of the trapped dust and dirt will come out?
Okay.
See, when the carpet was new, it had a protective finish on it, right?
Right.
And that protective finish kept the dirt from sticking. Mm-hmm. Now that you've worn it off, it's not as easy to maintain.
Okay.
Raking carpet can help.
Oh, cool.
All right? Rake before you vacuum. All right?
Nice.
Like that? Come here. Let me show you something
awesome.
else. I'll show you another same thing on the furniture.
Okay.
So everybody has germs and bacteria, right?
Yeah.
All right. What do you do when you have them? Get rid of them, right?
Right.
Okay. So now watch this. And I pull out my peanut brush, tap it off a little bit. I brush that dust up into the air and I say, you see that dust?
Yeah.
You see how that dust could be like sandpaper?
Mm-hmm.
You don't want sandpaper on your furniture, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay, so look, Michael, you've got some other things around here that need attention. Okay. I'm going to get out my price list. I'll write down everything it'll take to do your place right. You do whatever you want.
That sounds great.
Okay, cool.
It's fun.
That's the end of it right there.
Boom.
Now I'm going to go find them. After I've written the entire quote sheet, identified any urine problems, etc., etc., now I'm going to go find them, walk them through, show them the problem areas with my black light if needed, and then I'm going to sit them down to my quote sheet, and I'm going to say, okay, Michael, your original cleaning was, you bought the Groupon for $69. You don't owe me a dime today. Everything you ordered is paid for, okay?
Okay.
All right, cool. So down here I wrote the additional rooms that needed cleaned. Obviously you want the stairs done. Here's list price for the stairs. Here's list price for the additional room, that living room downstairs, as well as those additional areas on the other side of the house over there. All of the rooms I listed for you, and that's list price for them, okay? Now, in order to disinfect properly, I like to go about 200 square feet per application. We're going to be cleaning approximately 1,000 feet today. So to clean 1,000 square feet, I'm going to use 5 applications. 5 applications is going to run you $194. Okay. And then as far as reprotecting the carpet or putting a guard on it properly, 1,000 square feet at 20 cents a square foot is $200. Okay. So this is, if you had this done a piece at a time, it's $895 to clean your whole house. Mm-hmm. All right, but because I'm here today, you don't have to pay a piece at a time. My labor is mine. I can do whatever I want with it.
Talking into the mic.
I'm gonna take off the stairs. I'm gonna take off the additional rooms. I'm not gonna charge you for them. The most important parts I'm gonna charge you for are here, the solar retardant and the disinfectant, as well as you can see I've written a little sidebar here for the furniture. This is list price on the furniture that you have, an extra $400, but if you want to add it all today, I can add it all for $200, and I'll do all of this for you for $500.
$500, and we can do everything.
$500, you get everything cleaned except the furniture.
Except the furniture.
Correct. It's an additional $200 to add all of the furniture.
Let's do it.
Okay, sounds good. And you heard I said 500 and stopped, or I said the price and stopped, and I'm very confident about my price. I gave that customer $300 and some off just on the carpet cleaning, and then I cut the upholstery in half.
Yep.
So I still was able to get a nice $700 ticket, which when I run, I usually get one of those every other day. Because I'm just not afraid to ask for it.
Yeah.
Now the customer says, "Oh man, $500 is a little bit more than I wanted to spend."
No, I don't want you to spend
so.
I don't want you to spend anything. You already spent $69. I just want you to know that I'm here to show you what it'll be to take care of it right. If you want to tell me a number that works for you, I'll see what I can do.
Well, what can you do for $200?
Well, obviously I can't do it all for $200, but
Sure.
let's do this. What I'll do is I'll cut the disinfectant down just to 400 square feet per application, meaning I'll cut it in half. That's going to run about 90. And then on the solar retardant, we'll just put it on the traffic areas where you walk on the carpet most, instead of under the furniture or anything like that. It'll just be in the important areas. And I'll tell you what, I'll do all of that for $300.
Okay.
What do you think, honey?
No, we really need that money. We're going up to the casino next weekend.
He's really good.
I don't
think
think so. I don't know. No.
No problem.
I say we do it.
No.
I'll make you guys a deal.
I'm gonna write him a check.
How about a deal?
A deal. Here, listen.
How about a deal?
Okay.
I'll do it all for free.
Oh.
What?
Bazinga.
All for free.
Okay.
For free?
Yeah, we'll do free. Free sounds good.
Where would you like me to start?
What, in the hallway?
No problem. I actually prefer the farthest bedroom up by the hallway, but that's where I'll get started. One more thing. Make sure you set an extra dinner plate for the next week, because I'll be over every night for dinner because I won't have any money to eat. But it's okay. You're going to get a clean house.
Can we write him a check, or do you want to feed him?
I guess we can write him a check.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Right.
300 is fair, sweetheart.
Boom. All right.
Boom.
Cool.
Well, gentlemen, been a long GRATI-CAST. We're grateful all of you are listening. We want to remember to give you all a shout out, tell you that we totally appreciate you. Thanks for everything you do out there, and
Thank you,
let's
guys.
grow together.
Awesome. We appreciate it. Thanks for joining in.
Keep killing it out there, everybody.
GRATI-CAST.